Welcome to the replay. Remember that you can give hearts by tapping the screen, even in replay mode. Today, we are doing a scope with Donna Gilliland. She's the founder of MOSTraining, and I am, here, let me flip the screen here. There we go. I am Jasmine Freeman, and I'm I'm not the CEO and founder. I am the Vice President of Office Dynamics International, and Donna and I were just having a conversation about business and how long she's been doing MOSTraining, so that was at the top of my mind there. But Office Dynamics has been inspiring administrative excellence in the administrative profession since 1990. And we focus a lot on the soft skills for administrative professionals, the skill, attitude, teamwork, and even strategy that they need to do or to up their administrative game. Oh, and Alicia Morris is waving hello at Donna, and she says, hi, Donna. And yeah, and I want to take a second to introduce Donna to you, or at least give her a chance to introduce herself to you. But Donna focuses on more of the hard skills, and I'm just going to flip this over here to you, Donna. Hello, everybody's joining us on Periscope and saying hi. Hi, Victor. And Alicia shared. Thanks for that share. Okay, Donna, would you let us know a little bit about yourself and what MOSTraining is?
Sure. Well, I have a 25-year background in corporate training and mostly technology training. It's always been in the productivity space, you know, Microsoft Office and other productivity tools like Google. So as far as and the company turns 12 in May, and the MOS, when the company began approximately 12 years ago, it began as a productivity training company, corporate training in Microsoft Office. So that's how MOS came about. It was originally a Microsoft Office specialist training, but then as technology evolved, so has my company. So now the company has 3 core areas of training, and that is mobile productivity, which is focusing on iPad and iPhone, and Office is still the mainstay, and then the social media piece as well. So MOS has served me well, mobile, office, and social, and I am based in Birmingham, Alabama. So that's the short story.
Wow. Well, we are so glad to have you here today on Periscope. Oh, thank you. We're just saying hello to everyone as they log in, and thank you for the hearts that you were throwing up there while Donna was introducing herself. We are excited to have this conversation today about protecting your digital reputation. And Donna, it will be our guest expert. Oh, hello from Tuscaloosa. Hi.
Who do we have from Tuscaloosa?
I believe that is Alicia Morris. Let's see here. Oh, the comment went away before I had a chance to click on it. Peachtree 1995, welcome. Okay, well, this is awesome. Donna, I'm going to get started with our first question, but before I do, would you please throw up a comment with some emojis in it so that our guests can see that and follow you as well?
Well, I would, but I'm having a little technical difficulty, so I don't think I can.
When you are able to do that, I will, I'll make sure to remind everybody. From Office Pro, Alicia from Office Pro. Awesome.
Yes.
Very cool.
She and I are both writers for Office Pro magazine.
That is awesome. And I am a reader of Office Pro magazine. I think we've submitted some things to them as well. They're part of the IAAP, which is the International Association of Administrative Professionals.
Yeah, I think the difficulty on the Periscope, at least for me, is getting that volume turned off. So I think it's going to be competing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that I won't be able to, just because of the competing of the audio that I can't get turned off here. So I won't be able to do that part.
Oh, well, that's all right. We'll go ahead and
work it out for next time.
We will. Hi, Kamisha. Office Renegade Kamisha just logged on.
Great.
So glad to have you here this evening with us as well. We're just getting started, jumping into our questions. If you want to follow Donna on Periscope, please make note of her name. It is at Donna Gilliland. And you'll see that name up on the screen in just a moment when Donna starts speaking. So Donna, I have a 2-part question for you as we get started. So one, what is a digital reputation? And two, why is it so important to us?
A digital reputation in simple, it's our online behaviors. You know, when we're together, we have offline conversations, we have online conversations, and, you know, people get to know us in the dialogue that we have with each other in our conventional conversations, which are offline. So those same conversations we're having now online through social media, posting through our various social channels. So it is our online behaviors is what our digital reputation is. So whatever those behaviors are, they're forming, people are forming opinions about us, and which is very important because as you and I were talking earlier, Jasmine, I have never met Jasmine in person, but I learned about Jasmine as I have other people that I socialize with at a business and professional, you know, level, is that I connect with people based upon commonality and what kind of person that they are, that I think I would enjoy connecting with them. So if I were reading things on Jasmine's Facebook and other social channels, or for anyone else for that matter, you know, I am forming an opinion about whether or not I think that would be an enjoyable connection. And you're learning about what people are like personally and professionally by what they are communicating in their social space. So that becomes very important in personal branding of yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And that's very true. Who you associate with will also have an impact on your brand. If you and I say I wasn't, you know, it's somebody that you'd want to connect with, and we did connect and we did something like this where we partnered together, it would say a lot about your brand and who you were partnering with. So your affiliation with me or Office Dynamics would be impacting your brand, whether it's in a positive or negative way.
It's true.
All right, great. Well, I have a couple of questions here for you, and we open up the floor as well. If you have questions for Donna, please comment, and I will go ahead and I'm looking down here at Periscope, and I'm looking up here at Google, so my face going back and forth as I get used to this. But so Donna, let's see here. What are some proactive steps that we can take that will help us build a positive online footprint?
Well, number one is that you should I suggest that you take this philosophy, and that is that you speak and you post with purpose. Because if you are thinking before you speak, you know, the old adage about thinking before you speak, it's so very true. And now even more important, because what we say and do now on our social media channels can possibly, depending upon our privacy settings, make it to the airwaves of Google, Yahoo, and Bing, where it's very hard to go back and manage that and erase it, because it can be there for a very long period of time. And then our reputation could become what Google says it is, negative or positive. So as far as proactive steps, and there are so many, but for one, keep that in mind, speak and post with purpose. So you'll have to give thought, see, before you post. And the other is that just use, you know, good common sense about what you post. I don't suggest that you speak about your current or past employers in a negative light. If you don't have anything good to say, as my mother always said, just don't say it. So you're safe there. And social profiles, that's a big one, your social media profiles. Every social channel has them. You know, Facebook has the about section. Twitter calls it a bio. Instagram calls it a bio. But it's all the same thing in that it is that area for you and I to write more about who we are and what our interests are, so that people are able to learn a little bit more about us. But in those social profiles, have you written anything that could be looked upon as negative or shed a negative light on your personal brand? And on that note, I want to share just a little bit from a JobVite survey that was done of recruiters in 2014. And the survey, what JobVite did was they surveyed recruiters with questions about what they're using social media wise to make their decisions about hiring people. Well, one of the many things that came out of that survey when the recruiters were surveyed is social profiles. So 55% of the recruiters surveyed use social profiles to determine whether or not they will interview or hire a candidate. And there were certain key things that they stated that they saw as a negative if they found it in your social profile. And some of the things were, one, the type of photo that you're using. So think professional. They saw bad grammar and spelling as a negative. If you made any references to illegal drug references, references to alcohol, even cursing, those things, if found in a social profile, was considered a negative by the recruiters. So I would start with my social profiles, go back and evaluate them, and are they making you shine, or are they going to work against you later? And one more thing I'd like to expand on, and Jasmine, I know you could add lots of value here as well, is that LinkedIn is a professional network. I don't know if you're on it or you're not, or if you've signed up for an account and not done much with it. But you need to have a goal before you create your LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn or LinkedIn itself it's all about business. It's a very different dynamic from Facebook. It's all about making connections, business connections. It's the place where you can place information about your accomplishments, who you are, your education history, your skills, your certifications, clubs that you are members of, the chamber, etc. So I would consider strategically crafting my bio on LinkedIn. Would you like to add to that, Jasmine? You just recently wrote an article I read today that I thought was great.
Oh, thank you. Yes, when you're crafting that bio, whether it's on LinkedIn or any social profile, actually Julie Perrine just made a comment the other day about how you can use your personality assessments to find some great verbiage to input into those profiles, and just the networking, the social connection that you can make on those sites. With LinkedIn, there's a business group here in Las Vegas that I'm part of called the Vegas Young Professionals, and I've been able to use that platform as a way to connect with people even before I get to the mixer each month. So I actually know the person before we get there, because we've had a chance to mix and mingle on LinkedIn and get to know each other and what the other person is looking to accomplish. Maybe they just moved to Las Vegas. They have a job here and they're looking for connections to help them in that job, or they're in the market and they're looking to see before they move and they're coming to check us out. So as being in that group on LinkedIn and using that platform in that way, we've been able to really, I think, maximize it when it comes to making those connections and making worthwhile connections with people.
That's an excellent, excellent suggestion. And I do like that. I'd like to do the same thing, look at the profiles of folks that I know are going to be at an event and get to know a little bit about them. And it also makes for good opening conversation when you can know a little bit about that person. And going back to your original question about being proactive, is that many people think that, okay, I can behave and say whatever I like on my social channels. I have it protected. I have it protected so that no one can follow me on Twitter unless I allow it. No one can be friends with me on Facebook unless I allow it. But you've got to keep these things in mind, is that, you know, you've got a much wider audience whenever you're online, and others are looking on, your friends who also work for other companies. And even though with the security in place, you still have to be concerned about the fact that people can take screenshots of things that you have on your screen and send that out. People can take images, pictures of you, and load those as well. So you've really got to be aware of your surroundings, your social surroundings, and what kind of conversations are you having? What does it say about you as how you communicate on your channels? Do you sit on a Facebook page and talk about your company and your direct report and use it as a sounding board. And I would encourage you not to.
Absolutely. I just saw a post today from someone on Facebook, and it was a first day at the job post. You know, here I am in my new office, and they're trusting me with these errands. And it was a very positive post. But in that post, she talked about the opportunity that she has another interview coming up with another job, and she was excited about all these opportunities coming her way. And I thought, oh, I don't know if I would share all that information, just because that says to your new employer, if they were to get wind of that you're not quite there yet. You've got one foot out the door already.
Exactly. And that's perfect point, and a case in point. And then other things that I would suggest you do is that if you've never Googled your name, you should, because you may have posted some things that you didn't have your privacy setting to say friends. And I'm talking about Facebook on this one, because on Facebook, there's the setting for the globe indicates that you're at a public level when you're posting, and some people forget to change that setting. So if you're at public on the setting on a Facebook post, well, that means anyone can see what you posted, whether they're connected to you or not. And you've got to keep in mind that Google indexes these social sites. So anything that is going out public has the potential to be indexed and picked up by Google or Bing or Yahoo. So go check, and do it now if you want to on your phone. Type in your name in Google and enter and see if your name's coming up and what kind of post are they attached to. Other suggestions I would make to you is, if you feel after this event today that there's anything posted to any of your social channels that you think could come back to haunt you, reflect negatively, then I would start taking those down and being proactive. I would get rid of those comments or those posts off of all my social channels. Anything that friends have posted that maybe they thought was humorous and it reflects on you, maybe it's a photo, I don't think that you should have any hesitancy in asking someone, respectfully of course, if they would remove that comment, remove that tag, remove that photo, that you're not comfortable with that. You have that right to ask that. And also on blog posts, you know, I read blog posts and then I'll comment and let the author know what I think. So have you ever on a blog post just decided to blast someone about something on a blog post? And if you have done that and you're having second thoughts, I go back and delete those comments.
Wow, that's great input there, Donna. And that makes me think of this question that Kamisha actually asked earlier, and it goes right in line with that. And she was asking if you have ever worked with a digital cleanup company, or do you know maybe about how hard or easy it is for a digital cleanup company to help someone to clean up their brand online?
Now that's a good question. Now it has a two-part answer. One, yes, there are digital reputation companies who do exactly that, going through and using technical expertise and I suppose tools to help clean things off. Now, I've never worked with a digital reputation company whose focus is doing that, so I'm not quite sure what is involved in how they achieve that. So I would say this: if I Googled my name and I saw a lot of things that were not complimentary of my personal brand, and then I think then I would be looking to one of those as sources to help me remove those things. Because, you know, people also change. I mean, people can be of a certain mindset at a certain age and posting things, and then it winds up on Google. It's hanging to a different direction. You become a different person. Your thinking is different. It's called maturity. And then there may be that situation where you need to secure a digital reputation company who has that expertise. But I have not worked with one, so I can't really give you a lot of insight about who to choose.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing on that. And I was just moving my camera around here on Periscope trying to get a good angle. I know our scopers, they can see my reflection, so I was just trying to figure that
No
out.
problem.
But
While you're doing that, I dropped my glasses, so let me pick this up.
they're just going to have to look at my reflection, and then that way they can see.
Well, it's not like it's a bad reflection. So, so it's good. It all is good.
Thank you, Donna. And so we covered the privacy settings, and that those really are floating around on Google. They're indexed, so whenever you think that something is gone or you're safe from it, there is always a way that some of that stuff can come back online. People can do screenshots, just like I would encourage you to do now if you're watching on Periscope. Screenshot your phone when Donna's speaking so that you can get her spelling of her name right and follow her on Periscope, because she's out here too, and she talks about more of the technical skills that administrative professionals need, and she speaks to beyond the administrative professional audience, anyone who is really looking for the type of training that she's offering. And so we have a few other questions. Thanks, Kamisha. Thanks for tuning in and sharing your questions with us and your comments and your hearts. We are very appreciative of those. And we're going to jump back into some more questions. And as you guys ask questions on the scope, I'm taking notes so that I can be sure to ask Donna those as well. Okay, so let's see. Are there any privacy settings that we can place on these that would be sufficient as we move forward, Donna, that you would suggest using? Is there anything additional that we can cover in that area of privacy settings?
And yes, and I'm going to use Facebook as the example because I think there are so many in terms of socializing in general, with friends and family, business acquaintances, that they're doing this on Facebook. So this is going to be a personal choice for you, what you decide to do. Now, for me personally, I have chosen to set one of my settings on Facebook to be able to approve whether or not someone who tags me, whether or not that tag, that photo will show up on my timeline. So rather than me just opening up Facebook one day and someone has taken a photo that I didn't like. Maybe it was a bad makeup day. I don't want it on my timeline. So whatever. I want to be able to approve that. So I have that setting where I have to approve that post be placed on my timeline. So you need to go into your Facebook privacy settings, and there are a number of them, and you may not want to be tagged at all. So I would suggest that you give some serious thought to the settings, and you need to go to your privacy settings, get it up in front of you on Facebook, and start going through the list to see what things you might want to turn off, because you want to be able to approve whether it gets placed on your page or not. And always make sure of this. Make certain that that your settings for your post are set to just your friends and not to public. And make certain that when you're posting from your phone, that you're not posting where it is going public. Some people just overlook that simple setting.
That's great. And that when you talked about the ability to approve photos before they're actually added to your timeline, I originally didn't have that selected on my Facebook page. And I have two Facebook pages because I started them both way back in the day when I thought you could keep personal and professional separate. Right. And now we know that's just not the case. It's like Julie said yesterday, you can't separate personal from professional. It's you in both lights, and when it comes to the digital world, it just follows you no matter what time of day it is.
It does.
Somebody had tagged me in a post, and I didn't know this woman. I'd only met her at a networking event, but she was promoting her business, and her business and I guess it was a side business, so it wasn't even what I met her about at the networking event. She was promoting this side business, and it was in-home parties for women. And it was passion parties. And so these are parties of an adult nature and very personal nature. And she had a graphic with some of her products on it and an invitation to some event she was hosting. And she tagged all of these people. Well, if they didn't have the setting on, it just posted right onto their timeline so all of their friends could see. And this was my business Facebook that I was keeping for myself, and it was this invitation to this party, which was actually really embarrassing for me because I'd worked really hard on that profile to make a very professional presence for myself, and then to have somebody who I didn't even know post something like that right away, and have it go up, and that was then an account that I didn't check all the time, so it was up there for several weeks actually, under my name. You know, that was something that, just what we're talking about, like somebody can post something, and if you don't know it's there for a day, 2 days, even an hour, it can tarnish your reputation.
Oh, it absolutely can tarnish your reputation, because then people will make an opinion. I mean, if people do form opinions, and so with that on there, put someone who didn't know you could form an opinion about what your interests are in certain things. And so the other thing too is that I do get requests from people I don't know to be friends. You know, they come from the business world. I still think you have to evaluate that carefully too, because if I don't know you at a business level yet, then I am cautious about accepting that friendship, because then you're able to, you're able to see all my personal information on my Facebook page. So I even have a rule of thumb I use for accepting friends that are that I've met at events. I like to get to know a little bit more about someone before I turn over that key, if you will, to come on in and be part of my personal space on Facebook. Because they might not share my same thoughts, principles, if you will, and then I could wind up waking up one morning seeing some kind of comment on something I posted that maybe I wouldn't agree with, and it's not how I think or how I would do, or you see what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I've seen that people fall into that trap, and it gets ugly, and you can quickly turn into a type of person that you don't want to be portrayed as, and trying to defend yourself, or even the other person just being somebody that likes to maybe instigate or get into arguments, and then I've seen it happen with people in their comments, and I'm like, oh, this isn't going in a good direction at all.
No, it's not, and you don't want to be argumentative on your sites either. I mean, you just have to think about, how is this going to look? Isn't that how we think in life in general? You know, is this going to be a shining light for me, or is it going to be a negative light on me? What is it going to say about me as a person overall?
Yeah, absolutely. So Donna, what are some tips that you would give us, our audience, about how they can start to craft their social profiles going forward? Say after they do the cleanup that's necessary, what can they start doing going forward to really build up that brand for themselves?
Number one, outside of social, you need to, I would suggest that you think about how you want to brand yourself. What is it you want to become known for? And then how you're going to craft your social profiles to help people see more about you. Your social profile, depending upon what you write in it, can tell a little bit about you at a personal as well as a business level. It can be a combination. Just like if you look at some of my social profiles, they are a combination of me letting you know a little bit about what I like personally as well as what I do professionally. And you need to think about what your goals are, and then how you're going to achieve that visibility, that branding through your social profiles. And I would encourage anyone that if you're trying to go forward professionally and brand yourself, that LinkedIn is a top site that I would encourage you to be on, but don't be on there without a plan. You need to know, why am I going to be on LinkedIn besides showcasing what my skill sets are, accomplishments, but then there's that connecting piece, see? The connecting with those on LinkedIn. Who is it that you want to connect with? What groups would be of interest to you on LinkedIn? You need a plan before you go online.
You do, absolutely. And with LinkedIn, you can actually position yourself as a thought leader right there
Exactly.
in that space with the publishing tool that LinkedIn has.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's so true, because right there on your LinkedIn profile, you have the opportunity to write a blog. Like Jasmine's saying, it's the publisher tool. So you can align yourself as a subject matter expert. And is that one of your goals? When you make your goals list, is that one of your goals, to align yourself as a thought leader in a certain space? And if so, then you have to be strategic about how you are creating your LinkedIn profile and how you are crafting your social profiles. And I can't speak enough about having an appropriate photo. And I don't suggest you go headless.
I
You know,
I also suggest you don't go strapless with a strapless top in LinkedIn photos. That's probably my biggest pet peeve, because it looks like you're not wearing any clothes in
yes,
that
it does.
it photo.
Yeah, it looks, yeah, it does. And I wouldn't suggest that you dress as though you're going to a party on a LinkedIn. No, I'm saying on a LinkedIn, photo. The headshot is supposed to be professional. I'm not saying that you have to be, what's the term they use, a stuffed shirt or stiff, or not show your personality, but it should be professional. Not a picture on the beach photo for LinkedIn.
Unless you're one of the Baywatch lifeguards.
Exactly. Unless you are one of the Baywatch lifeguards, and then that might be a different story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and speaking of photos, I just had a thought. Files that you upload, they can also be grabbed by Google, and then your image winds up on Google. So also, when you're searching on Google for your name, you want to see if there are any photos of you that have made it online.
Absolutely. And another note on that tagging thing that we just talked about, I was just thinking, now with the facial recognition technology that Facebook uses, you can be tagged in photos that maybe really aren't you, and people just, as they're uploading them, if they're not careful to take off some of those auto tags that happen now, they didn't even tag you intentionally, but Facebook thought it was you, or it was you, and they tagged you, and then they just uploaded the photo. If you don't have those privacy settings in place that we talked about, then those pictures are going to show up on your timeline as well. They may not be you, they may be you, but they also may be something that you don't want out there under your name.
That's an excellent point. And if you don't understand clearly about the facial recognition that Jasmine's talking about that Facebook now has, you can just go to Facebook Help and look it up and educate yourself to that. Besides, knowledge is power, and that's the case in anything. Knowledge is power. And I do believe that more and more people, because technology isn't brand new to many, that they become too relaxed in their use of social, and don't know enough about a platform that they're on, even on basic things like privacy settings. Sometimes those never get visited by a user of a social channel, and you simply cannot afford to be lax about your knowledge of how to safely and appropriately use the channel or channels that you've chosen to communicate on.
Very good. Absolutely. And I just want to give our viewers, well, thank you one more time for tuning in and checking out this scope on Periscope and this Google Hangout as we've interviewed Donna Gilliland of MOSTraining. I want to let our audience know that if they are a job searcher and they're looking to build up their social brand, we just posted a blog. So right now it's at officedynamics.com/blog. It's the first post on our site right now. And Donna, is there anything that you'd like to share, or a website that you'd like to share with the viewers?
Sure. If you would like to visit my website and sign up for my newsletter, I have a newsletter called Most Social, and it is about social media as well as Microsoft, other things like that. But MOSTraining.com, so you can see MOSTraining here on the screen. So MOSTraining.com, one T in the name. And of course, I'm on Facebook by the same name as well. And besides, you have only to Google Donna Gilliland, and you will find that I'm everywhere. All over the place, all over the place, all over the social channels.
You've done a great job at building up your brand, Donna. And the
Thank you,
whole reason that we found each other was through this social digital world.
Right.
Through Twitter, we've got a lot of similar connections. I noticed you were on one of the scopes that I was doing, and you commented, and that's how we really started to get connected. Thank you, Alicia, for tuning in, and thank you, Kamisha, for tuning in, and everyone else that's still on the scope and watching the replay as well. We have had a really great conversation about protecting your digital brand and the importance of that digital brand. And thank you so much, Donna, for all of your input.
Thanks. It was an honor and a privilege, and it was a lot of fun. You know how I love technology, just like you.
Yes, I do. And it was a lot of fun. So we're going to sign off, say goodbye.
Okay.
All right, hang on one second here. I'll stop the scope. And bye, Donna. You take care.
Okay, all right. Thank you.